What if one of the Bible's most painful questions is also one of its most profound answers? In John 11 we read that Jesus received a desperate message.
Lord, the one you love is sick.
Instead of rushing to Bethany, he waits until Lazarus dies and is buried 4 days. Mary and Martha wonder why he delayed.
Hold on, my brother.
Skeptics use this story to argue that God is indifferent, and yet this delay is no oversight. It reveals a divine plan so radical that it foreshadows the entire gospel. Over the next 15 minutes, we will explore why Jesus waited 4 days, what first-century Jews believed about death, and how this moment shatters our notions of hope, despair, and resurrection. John's Gospel tells us that Jesus intentionally stayed where he was for 2 days after hearing Lazarus was sick. By the time he finally arrived in Bethany, Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. That detail is not a throwaway line, it's a theological clue. In first-century Judaism, there was a widespread belief that the soul lingered near the body for up to 3 days. By the 4th day, decomposition set in, and the soul was thought to depart. St. Mary Orthodox Church explains that raising Lazarus after 4 days eliminated any claim that he was simply unconscious or temporarily dead. The stench of decay and the mourning rituals proved Lazarus was truly gone. Jesus tells his disciples,
"Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I am going there to wake him up."
They misunderstand, assuming Lazarus will recover. Jesus then speaks plainly.
"Lazarus is dead, and for your sake I am glad I was not there, so that you may believe."
Notice that Jesus ties his delay to their faith. He isn't late. He's staging a miracle that will force them to confront death head-on. The homily from St. Ignatius' Antiochian Orthodox Church notes that Jesus' hesitation was deliberate. He wanted the disciples and the people of Bethany to witness the full horror of death before seeing his power over it. When Jesus finally arrives, Martha runs to him saying,
Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died.
She simultaneously expresses faith in his power and grief at his delay. Mary stays at home, perhaps too crushed to move, until Jesus calls for her. Their pain is raw. Their hope has died with their brother. This tension, faith mixed with frustration, mirrors our own experiences when God seems silent. The Orthodox perspective emphasizes that Jesus does not ignore their sorrow. He weeps with them, yet he also invites them to trust beyond what they can see. Why wait? Jesus explains it in 2 phrases. Lazarus' sickness is for God's glory, and so that you may believe. Orthodox commentators highlight that Christ's delay was not cruelty, but pedagogy. According to St. Ignatius' homily, ancient Hebrew tradition held that the soul hovered near the body for 3 days. By the 4th day, the person was beyond hope. Raising Lazarus on the 4th day would thus be undeniable even to skeptics. Furthermore, as St. Barbara Greek Orthodox Church notes, every detail, from rolling away the stone, despite fears of the stench, to calling Lazarus by name, underscores that this was a public demonstration of divine authority. Lazarus' resurrection foreshadows Christ's own. The Orthodox Church sees in Lazarus Saturday the prelude to Holy Week, while Lazarus is raised back into mortal life only to die again later. Jesus' resurrection will transform humanity's destiny. The Barrel-Aged Faith article points out that Jesus waited 4 days, partly to illustrate the hopelessness of death, which he would soon conquer through his own passion. By delaying, he reveals both the reality of death's grip and his authority to break it. There's another dimension. The crowd at Bethany includes friends, mourners, and skeptics. Some believe Jesus performed miracles, others remain unconvinced. When Jesus commands the stone to be rolled away, Martha protests, "Lord, by this time there will be a stench." Her reaction echoes the fear of decomposition, reinforcing the reality of 4 days. Jesus responds,
Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?
The St. Ignatius homily notes that no prophet had ever raised someone so obviously dead. Jesus' action surpasses Elijah and Elisha, who raised individuals shortly after death.
It is a miracle.
This miracle therefore demonstrates his identity as the resurrection and the life. The early church fathers also view this event as a strategic strike against death. By waiting, Jesus allowed death to take Lazarus completely, then stripped it of its victory. Lazarus emerges from the tomb still wrapped in grave clothes, symbolizing humanity's bondage. Jesus orders,
Unbind him and let him go.
The command signals liberation from death's grip, a preview of what Jesus will do on Easter morning for all humankind. As St. Ignatius' homily notes, the hymnology for Lazarus Saturday emphasizes that even decay and corruption obey Christ's word. Orthodox theologians remark that the story of Lazarus reveals both Jesus' full humanity and full divinity. He weeps at the tomb, demonstrating his compassion. But when he prays, he doesn't ask the Father for power. He thanks him for already hearing. Then he shouts,
Lazarus, come out!
The use of Lazarus' name, said by many Orthodox commentators, prevents all the dead from rising at once. Jesus calls one man from among the dead, illustrating his precise authority. For believers today, the 4-day delay teaches that God's timing rarely aligns with our urgency. We often want immediate solutions, yet Scripture repeatedly shows that God uses waiting to deepen faith. Mary and Martha were forced to trust beyond the grave. Likewise, we may face situations where hope appears dead and buried. Orthodox spirituality encourages embracing the paradox. We lament, and yet we trust. Jesus' tears show that our grief is not invalid. His command shows that our grief is not the end. In the Eastern Orthodox calendar, Lazarus Saturday bridges Great Lent and Holy Week. The feast celebrates Christ as conqueror of death and sets the stage for the triumphal entry into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday. The liturgical hymns emphasize both the historic event and its eschatological meaning. Lazarus's rising prefigures the resurrection of all and underscores the bodily resurrection's importance. According to Orthodox hymnography, the 4-day delay dramatizes the decomposition and emphasizes the miracle's scope. The faithful are invited to see in Lazarus their own mortality and hope. So why did Jesus wait 4 days? From an Orthodox lens, he waited to reveal the truth about himself and about death. He waited to show that he was not merely a healer of sickness, but the Lord of life and death. He waited so that there would be no doubt that Lazarus was truly dead. He waited to show Mary, Martha, and the disciples that hope can exist even after the stench of decay fills our circumstances. He waited to foreshadow his own 3rd-day resurrection by performing a greater miracle, raising someone 4 days dead. In doing so, he dismantled the prevailing belief that death had any hold beyond 3 days. As the St. Ignatius homily emphasizes, no one had ever raised a 4 days dead man, making this event unique in salvation history. For us, Lazarus' story is not merely historical, it invites us into a deeper trust. When God delays, it may be because he intends a greater revelation of his glory. In moments when our prayers seem unanswered, the raising of Lazarus reminds us that waiting may prepare us for miracles we cannot yet fathom.
I can see the light.
The 4-day wait also confronts us with our mortality. Lazarus eventually died again, but Jesus' resurrection ensures that death no longer has the final word. As we navigate suffering and loss, the Orthodox tradition urges us to hold on to this vision. The same Christ who wept at Lazarus' tomb stands with us, and the same voice that called Lazarus from the grave will one day summon us. Lazarus' resurrection isn't just about one man returning from the dead. It's a preview of the cosmic victory Christ would accomplish through his cross and resurrection. By waiting 4 days, Jesus shattered cultural assumptions, stretched his disciples' faith, and declared himself the Lord over life and death. The real reason Jesus delayed isn't that he didn't care. It's that he wanted to reveal a glory bigger than their immediate relief. As you reflect on this story, ask yourself, where might Jesus be delaying in your life not to neglect you, but to bring about something far greater than you could imagine? And can you trust him to be on time, even when it seems too late?